Hello, Orca. Welcome to this week's story time with Miss Appleyard. I'm not sure if you knew this, but May is Asian American and Pacific Island American Month. So I thought this week we would celebrate Momofuku Ando. He is the inventor and creator of instant ramen. And I have a special guest with me today, Horace Appleyard. This is my son, Horace, and he is a sixth grader, and he's going to be helping me do the read aloud today. And the reason I wanted him to join us is in our family, he is the #1 eater of instant ramen. He loves it. In fact, he starts every day with a delicious bowl of instant ramen. So I thought, who better to help us but Horace? Before I begin, I want to let everyone know that this is a biography. So this is a non-fiction story. This is the true story of Momofuku Ando. Even though World War II had ended over a year ago, much of Osaka, Japan still lay in ruins.
Momofuku Ando picked his way through the rubble on his way home from work.
Across the street, a long line of people wound down the sidewalk. It was winter, and they shivered in their ragged clothes. What are they waiting for? Ando wondered. At the head of the line, billows of steam rose from a shack. Inside, a man was selling ramen noodle soup. Bad harvests, rationing, and war had made food scarce. The poor ate grass and bark to survive. Orphans scrounged through garbage for something to eat. Those lucky enough to have some money waited for hours and paid outrageous prices for a meager bowl of ramen.
Ando went home, but he couldn't forget the hungry people. The world is peaceful only when everyone has enough to eat, he realized. Ando decided that food would be his life's work.
He started a business making salt. He caught and dried fish. He created nutritious food for people who were sick. With every new product, every new job, and every new business, Ando thought about the line of starving people. He thought about them for over 10 years. Then, one of Ando's business deals ended badly. He was penniless. Once again, Ando remembered the thin and hungry people. Wouldn't it be wonderful, he thought, if whole families could have noodles whenever they wanted? No more waiting in line in the cold, no more high prices, no more empty stomachs. He dreamed about a new kind of ramen. His ramen wouldn't be like other noodles. It would be more nutritious. In a shed in his backyard, Ando mixed flour, salt, and water together.
He added eggs, he added powdered milk, he even added spinach.
Nothing worked. The noodles were too crumbly, or too sticky, or too lumpy.
Ando kept experimenting with different ingredients. One day he cranked the handle of his noodle making machine and tested the noodles that came out.
They didn't crumble, stick, or lump. It was just the right mix of ingredients. Ando realized the key to the preparation of food is balance.
But what was ramen without soup? Ando remembered the cold and hungry people. Chicken soup warmed up cold bodies, but took hours to make.
His ramen would be tasty and easy to cook. The simple addition of hot water would release flavor from the noodles and turn it into hot chicken soup.
Ando kept experimenting. He used chicken soup to make the dough. He pressed seasoning onto the noodles. He dipped the noodles into soup.
Once again, nothing worked. The noodles were too brittle, or too soft, or too soggy.
Ando kept experimenting with different methods. One day he sprinkled noodles with soup from a watering can, then tossed and separated them.
The noodles soaked up the soup and dried. It was just the right procedure. He added hot water to the dried noodles and stirred. The water now tasted like soup.
But the noodles were too tough. They still had to be cooked on a stove. Ando remembered the tired and hungry people. He wanted his ramen to be fast and convenient, It could be made with hot water and in a few minutes. People should be able to make it anywhere, anytime.
Day after day, Ando experimented. Night after night, he failed. Month after month, he kept trying. Nothing worked.
One night, Ando watched his wife, Masako, fry tempura. She coated vegetables and seafood in batter and dropped them into hot oil. The water in the batter evaporated and left tiny holes in the now crunchy coating.
He stared at the tempura. The batter was made from flour and water, just like his noodles.
Yatta, he cried. That's it. He raced to his shed and threw some noodles in a hot pot of oil.
They sizzled and popped and crisped. Ando scooped the fried noodles out of the oil and into a bowl. He added hot water and waited. The water seeped into the tiny holes and softened the noodles.
2 minutes later, he plunged a pair of chopsticks into the bowl. He stirred and slurped. The noodles were very tender and chewy. They floated in a bowl of hot and tasty soup.
After a year of trying, Ando had finally done it. He had invented instant ramen.
Ando worked hard to make enough instant ramen to sell. The whole family pitched in. Masako, Suma, Koki, and even little Akemi.
Ando gave demonstrations. He poured water. He waited 2 minutes. Maho no ramen, the astonished customers exclaimed. Magic ramen!
Soon, everyone was eating Ando's ramen. Poor people, children,
Busy workers, even royalty.
Ando's ramen was nutritious, tasty, and convenient. Thin, cold, tired, and hungry people ate it and felt better. Ando smiled. Peace follows from a full stomach, he said. Ever since, Momofuku Ando and his backyard invention have fostered peace, one bowl of noodles at a time.
The end. And there's a picture of Momofuku Ando enjoying his bowl of instant ramen.
This is making me hungry. I'm gonna go have some ramen.
Oh. I'm not going to read you the afterword, but there were a few interesting facts that I thought you might enjoy. Momofuku was from Taiwan. He was born in Taiwan, but he moved to Japan as a young boy. His ramen company, Nissin, they sell ramen all over the world, and they also provide ramen in times of emergencies, such as hurricanes and earthquakes, to people in need. And he even invented a ramen called space ramen that could be eaten in zero gravity. And in 2005, 2 years before he died, a Japanese astronaut ate his ramen up in space. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Momofuku Ando and his contribution to the world. And I hope you have a wonderful week.